For that, the last stream got disconnected and I don't know why it has got disconnected actually. City have been very neat in those wide areas. The interchange, the passing, the movement, everything has been fantastic. That's gone out of play, but Sergio Gomez, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, especially Gomez and Palmer on that left hand side have just been fantastic, I would say. They've looked after the ball so well. Maybe this is something Cancelo can learn, leaving all of his tricks and everything out. That's very well defended there by Bernardo Silva. Looks like Bernardo Silva is also getting back to his absolute best. The defensive shape, the defensive positioning, everything. That's a giveaway there from Kyle Walker. But look at that, the press is just on for City. And Chelsea have played through the press, but the touch legs down Havertz there, I think. Bernardo Silva does well, like he always does. Again, the balls has been given away. Riyad Mahrez there, excellent crossfield ball. Cole Palmer's in there, Cole Palmer's in there, Cole Palmer. Ah, he did not intend to leave it for Sergio Gomez, but I think the ball just was a bit behind him. But Cole Palmer again, Sergio Gomez back to Rodri. Complete domination by City. The only thing is we're not yet dominating the scoreboard. That's it. Akanji to Sergio Gomez. Foden was almost through over there. Foden trying to do a skill, just couldn't get it back. But Chelsea are just not able to get out. Cole Palmer, Manuel Akanji, back to Aymeric Laporte. Back to Sergio Gomez again. Ederson, sorry, Ortega. There's no Ederson there. But the way Ortega is just passing the ball, you might be forgiven for thinking that it's Ederson there and not Ortega. Ortega has been absolutely flawless in passing the ball and stuff. I wonder if he's a knockout goalkeeper in the Champions League. I do wonder that. Aymeric Laporte looked absolutely best. And Phil Foden's there. What a ball that is. Kepa can't come. He has to score. Cole Palmer has to score. Cole Palmer hits the side netting. Cole Palmer hits the side netting there. I thought Palmer had to score over there. Palmer hits the side netting. What a ball that was. He's onside. Cole Palmer was onside over there. Goes in. Palmer had the chance to cut back actually. And I think unlucky. He's gone through Kepa, but it's just that the angle was against him. That's all. Free kick routine with Riyad Mahrez not working, but excellent run by Cole Palmer over there. Wonderful. Look at the City press there. It's almost impossible to get out of that. He's done well. He's done well there to get out of that. And City get the ball back. No. Chelsea are on the attack. They have done exceptionally well to get out of that press. There are three City players on two. Chelsea were outnumbered 3v2 on the right hand side, on City's right hand side, and yet they managed to get out of the press. But look at the way in which City get back into the shape. It's just wonderful. Kepa. That's a good ball from Kepa over there, but Stefan Ortega collects the ball, and Chelsea are, I think, appealing for a penalty or something, but there's no penalty over there. The ball wasn't in the control of Ziyech as well. Sergio Gomez. City give the ball away again, but Ortega does well to collect it. Just been a little bit careless on the ball in the last 5-6 sort of minutes. Riyad Mahrez there, he does exceptionally well, but it's just the touch. His heavy touch enables Koulibaly to get back. And it's a Chelsea throw in. That's a good ball, and it's 3v2 at the back for Chelsea. Julian Alvarez, the pass is just a little bit behind Riyad Mahrez, and that's a free kick for City. I think Alvarez has to do better. And Kovacic, like always, is arguing. What are you arguing about, mate? Kovacic is always arguing about something or the other. I don't know what he wants. Riyad Mahrez is the one who's taking the free kick. What a goal! Riyad Mahrez at his absolute best! What a goal, Riyad! Wonderful free kick! This is Riyad Mahrez exactly when Mahrez is back to form! What a goal that is from Riyad Mahrez! Wonderful, right? You can see the poise in his eyes. Wonderful, wonderful goal, Riyad Mahrez. What a goal that is. Look at the way he's placed it into the corner. No one saving that. Not even two Kepa standing there can save that. And look at it. It's brushed the post a little bit and it's gone inside. That's an undefendable free kick. It's not that similar, but it's a little bit similar to what De Bruyne did against Leicester actually. That hit the bar a lot and came inside, but this just scrapped the bar a bit. Get off Kovacic. What was Kovacic arguing there when the free kick was given? Get lost, Kovacic. Kovacic has turned out to be an absolute idiot now, and City are just going for the blood here. Look at that. Press and we get the ball back again. Walker. Walker to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva to Walker has the chance to play in Mahrez. He doesn't. And I'll change the score till then. What a goal that was. And Chelsea on the attack now. Laporte for me has been the standout in the defense, whatever you might say. It's just been superb. It doesn't look that he's come off after a long injury. I mean, before the injury, he looked a little bit rusty. For example, in the Fulham game, I think he was the one. No, it was Cancelo who gave away the penalty and the red card, but Laporte was responsible there. So before the World Cup, Laporte was hit and go, wasn't absolutely not top two, three defenders, but right now in this match, it's just looking superb. His positioning, the way he's playing the ball out from the back, the way he's handled one or two counter attacks that have come his way, he's just looking fantastic. The formation for me is intriguing here because Pep is switching between a back three slash back four, and that is wonderfully played there. Bernardo Silva, Cole Palmer, and Sergio Gomez doing it very well. It's a switch now. Manuel Akanji to Walker. Kyle playing Riyad Mahrez. I thought Mahrez would play a 1-2 with Kyle Walker, but he didn't. Wonderful work by Bernardo Silva. Kyle had to play in Bernardo Silva there with the 1-2. The crossfield switches have just been sumptuous in this game. They've just been an absolute thrill. Foul. No. The control has been delightful on the left hand side, especially Cole Palmer, Sergio Gomez, and Phil Foden. Interesting positioning from Phil Foden actually, because Foden's playing sort of as your inside forward more than holding the width. Because against Chelsea in the Stamford Bridge, we saw that Foden was wide and Cancelo was wide, and that meant actually Foden was just out of the game. But here Foden's playing as an inside forward. Cole Palmer from the left is actually covering and providing the width, and Sergio Gomez and Cole Palmer are actually interchanging and providing the width. So it's a Laporte. Laporte had the chance to head it, and Riyad Mahrez there. Riyad will recycle the ball, but Laporte had the chance to head it just a little bit, I think. Little bit late on the ball on the header, Laporte. Otherwise, he had a wonderful chance to head it over there. Rodri, Riyad Mahrez, Julian Alvarez dropping in and filling in the numbers. This is just looking like a wonderful Pep team. It was a random thought I had yesterday almost all day that what if Harry Kane had come to City? I know that saga is over long way back, but what if Harry Kane had come to City? He's he's one of the best in the world in sort of wonderful ball there. But Harry Kane's the best in the world in sort of playing that false nine as well as striker. His finishing is absolutely good. You can put him up there in the top four easily in finishing. And in sort of in that false nine role, I think you can put him as one of the best. So how would it be if he played for? I think it would just be wonderful. What is it? Is it a VAR check going on? Yes, there's a VAR check going on for the. I think it's a penalty. I think it's actually a penalty. It's a clear penalty. It hits the hand. What do you guys think in the chat? It hits the hand. Hits the hand of Kai Havertz. I think it does hit the hand. It does hit the hand. Has to be a penalty, guys. It has to be a penalty. Pen. Who will take the pen? I think it's Julian Alvarez deserves to take the pen. Julian Alvarez deserves to take the pen. But I think maybe Riyad Mahrez might take the pen here, but I think Julian Alvarez deserves to take the pen. Kepa mind games with Alvarez. Alvarez is taking the pen. Alvarez, it doesn't matter. Alvarez is something else. It's a different beast. I rate him in finishing as good as Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez. So you'll see why I think with this penalty. Hopefully, it doesn't prove me wrong. Julian Alvarez with the pen. Julian Alvarez with the pen. Julian Alvarez stepping up to take the penalty. Julian Alvarez versus Kepa. And Julian Alvarez puts it in. What a goal! Wonderful, wonderful. The penalty was superb there. That's the thing, It might have looked that Kepa got close to it. Kepa got a hand on it, but Julian Alvarez hit it low and hit it almost into the corner. Wonderful, wonderful way to take a penalty there from Julian Alvarez. Look at it, ice cool. And he does the celebration. Look at it. It was in the low in the corner. No goalkeeper saving that. In the corner with pace, very low. Alvarez does it. And I'm glad that Pep went with Alvarez and not with Riyad Mahrez for the penalty. Could easily have gone with Riyad Mahrez, but it's a good decision that you give it to Julian Alvarez. Wonderful play from City. I think with Julian, I'll have to be honest here. It's not that I'm going to blame Erling Haaland or something like that, but it's just, if we honestly speak about it, playing with the false nine, I think it's just that City have looked a different beast, right? Julian Alvarez coming in, into the midfield, and it's a free kick for Chelsea. But I don't know what you guys think in the chat. What are your honest thoughts about it? But with Julian Alvarez coming in, we just looked like the usual City, the usual Pep City, outnumbering people in the midfield, the false nine, dropping through, pressing well, and all of those things. It's just that you could sense all of the attributes of a Pep team, of a team in which Pep Guardiola's principles are imbibed. Again, look at the fluidity with which we are playing. That's a poor giveaway in the midfield. Who is the culprit there? It's Phil Foden, I think. That's again well defended. Now the thing what is happening is, in the earlier matches, if you notice, when we were not playing with the false nine, on the turnover it was quite easier for the opponent to sort of exploit gaps. But right now, there were a couple of turnovers, but you have hardly seen any gaps. Now there's a conundrum for Pep to solve. I don't know how he solves this, because with Alvarez you're getting some superb pressing and everything. So how do you play both Alvarez and Haaland in the same team? I do not know. Ortega almost sold. Laporte down the river, I think, but that was a very good pass there. Chelsea are now on the ascendancy, but City do well defensively. Manuel Akanji, cool and calm. Riyad Mahrez, one-touch football, and off goes City. I just think Phil Foden should have played that ball earlier, but Foden looks absolutely magical in the midfield today. Cole Palmer, he's played a pass shot, and Sergio Gomez can't do anything with that. Cole Palmer, he's been very good today. His dribbling, his positional sense, his decision making, far and large, have been good. And he had a shot on goal which he was unlucky, and Chelsea are almost 3v2 at the back. And that's very well done by Kyle Walker. Stefan Ortega, Aymeric Laporte, Rodri. Vinicius, remember time when Chelsea fans were so high after uh, Thomas Tuchel doing 3-0. They deserve this treatment. Exact. I mean, I remember that time. I think the Champions League final time, right before the we lost the FA Cup. Then we lost the FA Cup semi final. We lost in the Premier League as well. I mean, I had a friend who was a Chelsea fan. It was just horrible, you know. I had two, three people who were Chelsea fans. My friends, it was just too horrible, you know, the way they were going on about how Thomas Tuchel is this, that, how Thomas Tuchel has Pep Guardiola's number and all of those things. That was a horrible phase, you know. That time we won the Premier League, but Chelsea fans made it seem as if Chelsea fans made it seem as if, you know, they win the Champions League and they have had a wonderful season where we won the Premier League and also the FA Cup. I think that season, if not the FA Cup, the EFL Cup. I think that season. And that was a horrible phase, Vinay. I still remember. How can I forget that? Even I was facing a lot of stick that time. You know, the few Chelsea fans over there who are my friends. It was just has to score Alvarez. Just didn't get a back left right. Just didn't get his back left right. What goes around comes around, right, Vinay? And exactly Chelsea are deserving all of this. They deserve all of this. What is happening to them? Karma is for real. Vinicius and their owner is playing FM, football manager with real money. Not just FM Vinay. If it continues like this, I think he'll even start playing career mode. FIFA career mode. He'll remove Graham Potter and only surprised if he comes on himself to coach. It is ridiculous seeing that if Chelsea spent 150 million in this transfer window, in almost two transfer windows, they would have spent under Todd Bowley, they would have spent £500 million if reports that they are going to spend 150 million in this transfer window is right. So that is ridiculous. £500 million in two transfer windows. That is just too much. And you're 10th in the table, 10 points away from Everton at the bottom. Riyad Mahrez with the free kick. That was almost a knuckle free kick, sort of, you know. The free kick that doesn't move in the air and just it dips and comes fast. The more it dips, the more it comes fast at the keeper. Mahrez is just looking in exquisite form. He's just looking superb. I don't know why Chelsea are playing Chelsea about Bada Shield. Okay, some of the defenders are injured, but just I think they could have done well with utilizing defenders from the academy. It's Riyad Mahrez at the corner and Kepa collects it well. But just imagine if all of those defenders come back from a Chelsea point of view. How many defenders will they have? Shaloba, Koulibaly, they have Aspilicueta, they have Reece James, they have Fofana, they have Badashil, they have Ben Chilwell. I don't know, I would have missed some, but at least they have Malangsar. I've at least counted seven or eight. What do you do with all of those defenders when they come back from injury? And the funny thing here is Graham Potter. He has been exceptional at bringing youth products through at Brighton. His coaching skills are exceptional. It's not like a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or someone. He can bring results out from the academy. If Lampard can promote some good Chelsea youth like he promoted Mason Mount, Billy Gilmore, all of them, even Callum Hudson-Odoi at his time. What can Graham Potter do with this talent which Chelsea have in their academy? If Chelsea have superb talent in their academy. They're almost every time there in the FA Cup, Youth Cup finals, all of the time. So, and the owner is just buying. That's a goal. It's 3-0. Chelsea are running rampant. It's Phil Foden with the goal. Sorry, City are running rampant. Phil Foden with the goal. What a goal there! This is magical City. This is City at their absolute best. This is Pep Guardiola's training methods at their peak. You know, the passing, the movement, the winger to striker, the way Phil Foden moved inside from the midfield, the way Riyad Mahrez gave the pass. The movement is just something I can't describe. The way we won the ball, Sergio Gomez makes the pass initially. Palm, Palmer back to Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez to Kyle Walker. Walker to Foden goal. Wow! Look at the underlapping run of Kyle Walker. That's just superb. That's just superb. Look at Walker offering himself. How much have we missed this with the inverted fullbacks, right? How much have we missed the fullback overlapping? Sorry, underlapping. Overlapping has never been the case with Pep. Those late fullback runs. Remember in the Champions League last season, I think it was both Kyle Walker and Cancelo scored 1-1 goal themselves when they both made those great underlapping runs right from the full-back region. This is wow. This is City announcing themselves for the Manchester Derby. I know we have a EFL Cup match in between, but be nice is and what made Enzo to think Chelsea move, which collapsed and it affects players' performance. Actually, about the Enzo Fernandez move, I'm glad that he didn't come to Chelsea. He he deserves something better than Chelsea and what is happening there. But I only feel for Graham Potter actually. Graham Potter doesn't deserve Chelsea. Graham Potter has been someone who I always thought was a good fit for City. You know, he's calm, he's humble, he's the sort of persona you identify with our ownership. You know, with someone who would be a good fit at clubs like City. But I don't know why he chose to go to Chelsea. This has happened in the past also with a few managers. It's not just players, with managers as well. Managers think that's a good dribble. I think it's by Lewis Hall, and Chelsea get the ball wide, but Chelsea have no options there. Look at it. Both Cole Palmer and Sergio Gomez are doing a double there on Chelsea's wide players. This is good defending. Chelsea have nothing to do but to go back and back and back. Let us make it 6-0. Just humiliate Chelsea and put them out of their misery. Yeah, so just like players, sometimes even managers can, at the right time in their career, they can choose the wrong club and they can just suffer a lot because of it. For me, Jose Mourinho is an example. At that time, still don't understand why he went to United, knowing that United and their owners were not always the perfect fit for him. Jose likes owners who give him the complete control, and look at what has happened to the man. Since that United job, okay, he went to the Spurs job, but again, Spurs owners are also almost like United owners, so maybe a little bit better. And Jose Mourinho hasn't recovered till now from that. It's a free kick to City. The referee blows. Aymeric Laporte down, but so Graham Potter for me, I know a lot of people are telling give Graham Potter time, and all of those things. But for me, I think personally, I would like Chelsea to sack Graham Potter. Not an not an advice from being to a Chelsea fan or something. But being a City fan, I actually want Graham Potter to be sacked by by Chelsea, and then maybe in 2 3 years of time, I want Graham Potter at City. It's a bit biased and selfish. Obviously, I'll be selfish towards City. I'll be biased towards City, but that's what I want to happen because I still think Graham Potter and his tactical knowledge. It's just we could utilize it so much. We have the kind of players like that Graham Potter likes, the kind of technical ability that he plays. Vinay says Potter hasn't been in big club pressure. But Vinay, it's almost the same thing with Mikel Arteta, right? Okay, he has been at City and an assistant to Pep, but being an assistant is not the same thing as being a head coach. And what a run that is! Wonderful run there by Sergio Gomez. Just couldn't pass it back. Just couldn't pass it back. But the run from Sergio Gomez there is wonderful, and Cole Palmer wins it back, and City get the ball back. But it was same thing with Arteta, right? And Arteta got okay 3 years before this season. I know that, but for me, based on tactical knowledge and the young managers who are coming through, I think Arteta and Graham Potter are right up there. They probably are in the top five in the world in sort of the young upcoming managers. Their tactical knowledge is absolutely best, and for me, Potter is probably better than Mikel Arteta in terms of tactical knowledge, in terms of changing the shape and stuff. JSK says Julian Alvarez as false nine is the answer to Parthapas. That's the answer, JSK. That's actually the answer. But then the issue here is, do you 90% of the teams park, not 90%, most of the teams, even the big teams are parking the bus. Your Spurs park the bus. All of them. Julian Alvarez is running through. Julian Alvarez with his dribbling abilities. He's done well there to find Cole Palmer. He has Riyad Mahrez on the outside. It's just that Julian Alvarez couldn't reach it. That was just a whisker of being four and a whisker of humiliating Chelsea. Right at the stroke of half time. But the combination play there was excellent. Vinicius said Brighton, how Albion, he didn't have that kind of pressure. I personally never wanted Potter's Chelsea move. Yes, absolutely, Vinay. Even I agree with JSK in terms of playing Julian Alvarez as a false nine. But the problem here is all that even in the top six, at least three teams part the bus against us. So then how do you play Erling Haaland? That's the question here. How do you play Erling Haaland? Because with deep defenses, you play Erling Haaland and they know if they have to mark Erling Haaland. But with Julian Alvarez, it's just Julian Alvarez for me in 3 years' time, at least in 2, 3 years' time, will grow into the signing, which in grow into the Harry Kane, Roberto Firmino sort of signing. He will grow into the 140 million sort of signing, which we were ready to pay for Harry Kane. It will take a bit of time for Julian Alvarez, but this false nine is where we have looked at our sharpest, at our best. Teams can't part the bus. We have won what 4 league titles out of 5 years, virtually playing the false nine. Aguero was out injured for a bit of for longer periods when Pep was here. So false nine is what won us all those titles. So interesting to see how Pep deals with this Haaland thing. JSK says 4-4-2, then we should play with both Haaland and Julian. But then the issue is the same, right, JSK? False 9 is so effective because the striker drops into the midfield, which means the opponents cannot outnumber you in the midfield, and the centre backs have no choice but to step into the midfield a bit to deal with it. But if you play Haaland there, that outnumbering in the midfield will not be there. So that element of a false 9 is gone then, because in a way, if you see the match at Stamford Bridge, Pep is almost he sort of put De Bruyne behind Erling Haaland. De Bruyne was playing a bit in some attacking phases. If you notice, De Bruyne was almost playing a 4-4-1-1. They're just behind Haaland, and it didn't sort of work. So that is the conundrum for me. How does he deal with it, especially after this kind of a performance? What a half this has been! Wonderful half. JSK says Julian with second as like Messi played in Barca behind Ito. Maybe I think Pep will try that. Pep will try that, but let us see who will play in a 4-4-2. The defense plays itself. That is fine. The defense and the goalkeeper. But the question here is okay. Alvarez and Haaland play up top. Who are the four in the midfield? That is the question. You have to play De Bruyne. You have to play a holding midfielder, Rodri. Who are the who are the other two then? Probably you play a Grealish and a Foden, or probably you play a Bernardo and a Foden. Probably you play Gundogan. See, there is the problem. Out of Grealish, Mahrez, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Foden, literally out of 6 players, you can only play 2 players there in a 4-4-2. So four of yours will be sitting on the bench, and we know Pep loves to play all of his midfielders. Pep is like he sticks Even Bernardo on the wing and plays Gundogan and De Bruyne in the middle. So there's a personal problem also in that. So I do not know, but as you said, this seems to be the best way to deal with to deal with parking the bus. JSK says Rodri, KDB, Foden, and Grealish. He can play like Messi. Exactly, I get you. I get you there. Foden and Grealish, but the problem with that is playing Rodri, KDB, Foden, and Grealish. The problem is one of Bernardo or Gundogan have to play there. Both I, I probably think by playing Grealish over there, you're asking Grealish to do the role of a Bernardo or a Gundogan. Grealish is fair enough. Grealish is fair enough, but for high pressing teams, maybe he has to play a Bernardo over there. Yeah, then you can play only one of Bernardo, Grealish, or Foden. And then what about Riyad Mahrez? That's another thing. Where do you play Riyad Mahrez? There are a few question marks on that. Will be an interesting thing if Pep switches to a 4-4-2, because 4-4-2 is not an unnatural formation for us, because if you observe, we defend in a 4-4-2 shape. Always out of possession, we go back to sort of that 4-4-2 shape. So it's not a shape that is too difficult. JSK says I'm talking about park the bus teams only, but JSK, the problem is almost all of the teams park the bus against us, right? You just look at the Premier League. Brentford parked the bus before the World Cup. We lost it. Everton, we lost points before it parked the bus. West Ham parks. I mean, you tell me the teams which don't park the bus. Liverpool doesn't park the bus. They never knew how to park the bus. Even bloody Arsenal in the past, sometimes they have parked the bus against us. So Liverpool doesn't park. Probably a United, I don't know. Newcastle parks the bus again. Tottenham parks the bus again. So Antonio Conte. So who are the teams that don't park? Probably a Brighton doesn't park the bus. I can literally count three teams probably who don't park the bus against us. Manchester United, yes. Manchester United, except Liverpool, every team parks the bus against City. When United also sometimes parks the bus against City. Liverpool, Brighton, exactly. Liverpool, Brighton, probably a Fulham. You could say sometimes they go man to man and they press, but even they park the bus against us. Actually, when we last play them, then even bloody Arsenal parks it. So that is the dilemma there, because the moment you play Erling Haaland, see, the thing about this false nine system is the surprising element is who is in the striker position is the surprising element of this false nine system, right? Whatever formation you play, when you put Erling Haaland over there, the surprise is gone. The centre backs know that he will be one who will be there in that striking position. Whoever might make a run from the midfield, that's different. So that removes a bit of surprising element. So that's actually a problem. And if you ask me, I do not know the solution of how do you deal with it. A 4-4-2 partially could solve it. 4-4-2 could be a good one to solve it, but then again, that I'm a bit confused about the surprising element in that 4-4-2 formation with Erling Haaland in that. So that is the thing. Vishal says, "What's wrong with parking the bus? It's a proven tactic to win." Vishal, there's nothing wrong with parking the bus. We are discussing how can City play well against park the bus teams. That's what we are discussing. How can we break down park the bus teams? Because this season, if you see the points we have dropped 3 points against Brentford, park the bus team. Everton, we have dropped 2 points, park the bus team. So all of the points, if you go back and see whom we have dropped against, park the bus teams. And if we had even one against Brentford and one against Everton, what's the gap between Arsenal and City now? There would be no gap. There'd be no gap. Arsenal fans are thinking they're having a stellar season and City are having a bad season, but it's just a matter of two games where we should not have literally dropped points, and we are having a par season with you, even though you're having a fantastic season. So we are talking about how do you unlock this par the bus teams. Uh, Navratan is here. He says, "Where are you from?" I'm from Hyderabad in India. Vinay says, "Real loss to certain I saw that result actually Real Madrid, but Real Madrid are like, come on, they don't care about results before the Champions League starts, right there. It almost seems with Real Madrid like their only aim is to win the Champions League, and if they win La Liga, it's a bonus. It's a completely opposite approach from us, where we want to win the Premier League, and Champions League is, I know we want it, but Premier League is what our fans want, and what Pep wants, at least what he says. So Real Madrid are completely opposite. I will not be surprised if Real Madrid before a Champions League semi-final they lose to a second division team in the Spanish league and they come out and beat a Bayern Munich. I won't be surprised because it's just that thing which Pep says. Once you start winning, it becomes a habit. Especially knockout competitions like your Euros, like your World Cups, like your Champions Leagues. So I think it's just the first one. When City wins the first Champions League, no one can stop us. Just like how we have amassed these many Premier League, six Premier Leagues in this decade. It will almost be the same thing with the Champions League. It's just a matter of us winning one, then we can go on to win two, three, four, whatever is the number. I'm confident about it. Vishal says, "Ah, my bad, didn't catch the previous discussion. That's fine, Vishal." Vinay says, under Carlo, never looked they have formation, system and style like Pep. But Vinay, the thing about Carlo Ancelotti is, I think even in football, there are two kind of managers which you can say. One are like extremely tactical managers like your Pep Guardiola and then Jose Mourinho, and not a Jose Mourinho, sorry, Antonio Conte, Graham Potter, Mikel Arteta, just in terms of those pure Eric Ten Hag, pure tactics, and you have the second kind of managers like your Jose Mourinho, like your Carlo Ancelotti's, who are like their forte is not about tactics, but their forte is about inspiring the team. Their forte is about man management and all of those things. So I think Carlo Ancelotti, it's not as much tactical, but it's more about putting in the right personnel at the right time, inspiring, managing them well, all of those things. I think the assistant coaches are the ones who do those tactical things for them. I think. For Jose Mourinho, for example, Rui Faria was doing all of that, and once Rui Faria left, you saw how Mourinho struggled at Spurs. So I actually think Carlo Ancelotti is that kind of a manager. JSK says Erling Haaland is the answer to Real Madrid this year. JSK, I'm confident that Erling Haaland is the answer to our Champions League woes this year. He's the answer to at least our Champions League goal scoring woes, especially in the, especially in tight phases. You saw against Chelsea in the Premier League, I think 2 days back, Haaland gets a chance, half chance in the first half, and he almost scores. It just goes above the bar. So we need that clinicalness. And in the Champions League, I think as you go deeper, your Bayern Munichs, your Real Madrids, they don't park the bus. They don't park the bus at all. So that will actually be an advantage with us. The match will be tough. I won't say it will be easy, but with Erling Haaland, with the other team not parking the bus, I think we'll surely have an advantage in that. Vinay says City can face Arsenal in FA Cup round 4. Actually, at the starting of the stream, we were discussing the same thing. Vinay, the start of the stream, I just saw a notification in the phone, and it was FA Cup fourth round draw has been made, and there have been some mouth-watering draws. And I saw that, and the draw had to be City. What about the cup draws for City this season? EFL Cup, draw against Chelsea, draw against Liverpool. You potentially face a Newcastle or a Manchester United in the later rounds of the EFL Cup. If you get through against Charlton Athletic this Wednesday, and in the FA Cup against Chelsea, Arsenal. These cup competitions are almost becoming like a mini Premier League for us, mini top six league for us. All of we are playing only all of the top six in the in these cup competitions only. But then I think it can be good for us in a way because now you get through all of these tough teams. So later on in the semis and in the finals or whatever, I guess you'll get through lesser teams. You'll have to play with much lesser teams, and I would take that because as the fixture piles up, as the schedule gets worse and worse, I think Pep would actually be relieved that he'll have to face not so big opponents in the future. Vinay says Carlos still plays Valverde in right wing, though they have Rodrigo Asensio. He does that for work rate, Vinay. Yeah, Valverde's work rate is just exceptional. Valverde's work rate is very, very good. I think Zinedine, there were rumors when I think when Zidane was there, I don't remember, but there was rumors of Valverde leaving Madrid or something, and there was one statement that came out from Real Madrid that Zidane just wouldn't exchange Valverde for anyone. He just allows him to be. It's just the work rate. It's just like a Bernardo Silva. The work rate he offers, not just on the right wing, he can play everywhere. Freddy Valverde in the midfield, in the wing, he can play right back. It's exactly the same like our Bernardo Silva. Bayagis has gone are the days of facing the likes of Rotterdam and Stockport in cup competitions, but Bayagis, some teams are still facing them, right? You look at Manchester United's draws. Whom have they drawn in the EFL Cup till now? All small teams. Whom have they drawn in the FA Cup? Okay, they drew Everton, but Everton is relegating. Now I think it's an easy team. Reading or something they're drawing. And last season, all of the United fans were coming on to us telling that City get easy draws in the cup competitions. I remember in 2020-21 season when we were going for all the four trophies, United fans were like they just lost it. They are like this is cheating. City get easy draws in all of the cup competitions. They're just even buying up the draws now. We don't accept this quadruple if it happens. We look at how United faced good teams when we won the treble. They were just losing their shit all over social media that time. So so I actually want us to beat all of these teams now, and then challenge for that four trophies. I think that the day we get those four trophies will be the final coffin in the nail for United. Gone. Manchester is completely done. It's completely blue. I think we're already dominating Manchester. It's just that we'll extend our domination even more. The last decade has all been City in Manchester. Has all been City. Manchester is blue in the last decade, but once we win those four trophies, once we get the Champions League, we win the four trophies. Winning four trophies is difficult. I know. I want us to beat United Champions League record of two Champions Leagues. Let me then see who posts about telling Manchester is still red. You can never be as big as Manchester United. All of that shit. Just waiting for us to win our first Champions League. Chelsea looks like are making a whole load of subs. Mason Mount is there and he started, I guess, but he's with the sub. Is Badashil? Come on, no, I don't know because Badashil has been on the bench. Fofana is coming on, but he's not Wesley Fofana. He's someone else. Have City made any changes? No, City haven't made any changes. Dennis Zakaria is coming on. Zakaria for me was very good. Zakaria, remember, I think when we were searching for that CDM, Zakaria was actually linked. Especially when Fernandino was going, Zakaria was someone who was actually linked to City. Zakaria was linked. Granit Xhaka was linked. The previous season we played against Mönchengladbach actually that 2017-18 season when Fernandino was almost leaving. So a few players we were linked to at that time, but I'm glad we got the best in Rodri. Vinay says who's starting versus Southampton, Haaland or Alvarez? That will give a clue actually, Vinay, as to who starts the derby. I guess Alvarez is starting against Southampton as well. In the EFL Cup, Alvarez is starting against Southampton. I don't see how we can drop him. whatever you might say against Haaland, but I think Haaland is a big game player. See, against United, derbies are just something that fire him up. Remember Foden, Haaland, the hat tricks last time, how we humiliated United? I think Haaland, and also Haaland, I wouldn't say it's a barren spell, but the limits set by Haaland are so high that even if he doesn't score in one match, you almost tend to refer to, oh, Haaland is going through a bit of a barren spell. That's the standards that Haaland is always said. But I guess in the derby, Haaland starting for sure. And I think in the cup, it's Alvarez. The tactics will be interesting against Manchester United, actually. And will he start Foden against Manchester United? I probably don't think, because they're reliant heavily on counter attack. He might start Grealish and Mahrez, actually. The form Mahrez is in. But Foden, local lad, has always done well against United in the derby. That team selection will be interesting, actually. I have no clue, because Grealish has been good. Grealish was wonderful against Manchester United last time we played them. So, so Pep has some tough selection calls. Walker or Rico Lewis, for example, against Manchester United. Rico Lewis, a local lad. It was almost a wonderful through ball. Or do you start the experience of Walker? Do you start Nathan Ake and go for stability? Or do you start Cancelo, who's generally been good for you, especially in those big games? Lot of questions in each position. Almost there are a lot of questions. Do you start Gundogan or do you start Bernardo Silva? I think apart from the KDB and the goalkeeper position, there are questions riddled over most of the positions. Akanji probably starts, probably his positioning is secured there, but do you start a Laporte, who's looked fantastic, or do you actually start a John Stones, who's looked in supreme form, he's looked world class? Laporte, a left footer, would that tempt the balance in his favor? Actually, so a lot of questions for Pep to answer before the derby. City has started where they have left off. Kyle Walker, sorry, it's Cole Palmer. He's come inside. Manuel Akanji. What a shrewd signing Akanji has been. 15 million and he's offside. He looked offside there. It's Sergio Gomez. The positioning of Sergio Gomez has been special there. He's almost gone into centre forward position there. We know, of course, he's a midfielder. So he's gone there. City are pressing very well in this false nine structure. And the reason for it is, like we have discussed before, the extra man, he gives you an extra body in the midfield. The pressing structure is different. And also, Haaland has to learn how to press. It's a learning curve for him. It's a free kick for Chelsea. And I expect this half to be end to end almost. Because Chelsea need to go for it, they know. Because if they're out of this, then probably they're competing for nothing this season. Their season's already ending. Their season's ending in January. Chelsea are in the Champions League, right? If I'm not wrong. So, I mean, you don't expect this Chelsea team to go far in the Champions League. So, probably their season's gone. The season's over after this match. So, I expect them to go for it. I always thought that Antonio Rudiger just suited Chelsea so much better in the sense that he's a ball playing centre back. He would have been perfect for Graham Potter, actually. That's a good ball into the midfield by one of the Chelsea centre backs. Lewis Hall is onto it. And he's given it straight back to Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez there. Look at his dribbling skills. Julian Alvarez. That's the beauty of Julian Alvarez. He doesn't lose the ball. He makes sure the attack is completed, or he passes the ball back. to a City player. That was wonderful play from Julian Alvarez. But Lewis Hall, that was a strange pass. He passed it straight back to Julian Alvarez. Chelsea are just not able to get out of City's pressing structure. It's a wonderful structure. This is Pep Guardiola's strength, the way he sets up teams to press. Whatever people might talk about the intelligence of Mikel Arteta and stuff, this pressing structure is something which he has learned from Pep Guardiola. You cannot deny that because the pressing structure is of Pep is just so unique. Just like Klopp, the pressing structure of Pep is just so unique. You can't learn it anywhere. Basically, you have to learn it from him. The way he analyzes, the way Pep analyzes the opponents, and City, they don't have the same pressing structure for all the teams. There are little bit of tweaks. The fundamentals are the same, but there's a little bit of tweaks. Sometimes the striker is the trigger for the press. Sometimes Bernardo Silva is the trigger for the press. Sometimes the fullback who inverts is a trigger for the press. In one of the matches, Rico Lewis was the trigger for the press actually. Stefan Ortega is just so comfortable there on the ball. Vinicius, Man United looking well settled. Only striker is missing for them. But I mean, if you look at this string of results, you would think that this is a team bang on form, and this team can potentially, if they have one or two results go in their favor with other teams dropping points, Arsenal and City, they could challenge for the title. But you look at the fixtures that they have won. Actually, they won against Wolves. They won against no, I don't remember the teams, but all of the teams that they've defeated have actually been in the bottom half of the table. If you see, so I actually think it's not a pure illustration of their form. It's a bit of an illusion of their form actually. All of their results, especially in this last after the World Cup, have been against mostly bottom sides that were poor. Even in the cup competitions, they won against a poor Everton team. They won against a poor Burnley team. I mean, a Burnley team that was poor on there. I mean, on that occasion. So it's just an illusion that United are going through. I think once they go through this tough list of fixtures, which they will be facing in the coming weeks, I think that is when you can understand the real level. Aymeric Laporte, Riyad Mahrez, back to Laporte. By the way, what did you guys make of Laporte's performance today? For me, I think he's looked very good, very solid. So it's Manuel Akanji. Sergio Gomez is trying to make those inverted runs from fullback positions. He's losing the ball a bit, but Pep will be fine with that. That's a free kick and very well done by Rodri over there for the free kick. That's a yellow card, but then that that is fine. Had to take one for the team, otherwise I don't know who he is, but Mason Mount is through. Mason Mount was through over there. Con Gallagher with the free kick, but that is very well read again. Stefan Ortega does well. I think Ortega got a tip to it. Ortega got a tip of his fingers to it. I'm sure. I'm sure about it. Probably the ball was going wide, but for a moment it also looked the ball was probably going to sneak bit into the corner. Let us see, did he get anything? There was a deflection of Gomez slightly. Yeah, I think it's a slight nick also from Ortega. You don't see it in the replay, but just with the way the ball moved away from him, it was. City can't concede here. Pep will look at the way we can manage the team. Clean sheets have been a bit of an issue for us in recent times. I'm still feeling hurt from that Everton game. Those 2 points. Okay, Brentford, we lost, that is fine, but Everton, they didn't deserve anything from the game, honestly. Just one Demarai Gray wonder goal, and because you add those 2 points to our title points tally, and we are just 3 points away from Arsenal, which is not a gap at all, which is nothing. Riyad Mahrez, Mahrez has also looked bright. I think Jack Grealish also would benefit from Sergio Gomez playing there and not Joao Cancelo. Ahmed say something. Okay, I'll actually say PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile.
Your subscription of Amitabh Bachchan, Celebrity Voice has expired. It's not available for purchase anymore. Do you want to disable the Amit J wake word?
Amit, based on what you said, what you told me to say, my Alexa has become active. Alexa also agrees if you can hear the music. Alexa, Vinay says KPN Cancelo on. Yes, Calvin Phillips is on. Vinay, one thing is Calvin Phillips solely starts against Southampton. Whoever starts or whoever doesn't start. Rodri, the kind of minutes he's played, I don't know, he must be tired. Played the entire World Cup. I mean, all of the teams that Spain has, all of the matches Spain has played. Calvin Phillips will be interesting. 57 minutes, right? We have seen Calvin Phillips play for 10, 15 minutes here and there in the season, but haven't seen Calvin Phillips play a sort of this 30-minute stretch or something. Cancelo is also on, so this will be one of the most important 30 minutes in Cancelo's career, I would say. I know you think this is an understatement, thinking that it's an FA Cup, what is this? But Cancelo is playing here for a place in the derby. Okay, he might have a chance against Southampton as well, but this is Cancelo showing Pep why he should be picked for the derby against United. This is Cancelo trying to show Pep that he has recovered from his loss of form. That Sergio Gomez for me has been very, very good today. His movement, Erling Haaland is also warming up. Now, the last thing Chelsea centre backs would want is 80th minute Erling Haaland coming on. Manuel Akanji, Phil Foden. Foden's been fantastic in the midfield. Cole Palmer. It's just that Mahrez and Walker haven't been on the same wavelength at that time. Vinay says, by the way, you saw how Liverpool drew goals. Still remember UCL how they got off goals on. I mean I think in 2018, I think it was City Liverpool played in the Champions League, sort of last 16 or something. That was Centurion season, I think, right? When they defeated us, and I still remember then Leroy Sané. The aggregate score was 3-1, and Leroy Sané scored a goal, and they gave off when reality it was not off. It was on, and that really changed the tie. So Liverpool got a lot of goals like that. Liverpool got a lot of goals, and also Salah was getting a lot of penalties, right? Before VR and stuff. That's why it's not for nothing that fans say Vinay, it's not Liverpool, it's Liverpool. Liverpool. Apt title for them. But honestly, I'm happy, Vinay, that it was a draw because Liverpool have to play the replay. Liverpool would have been happy with a win. They also would have been moderately happy with a loss because then they can manage their season, top four, Champions League, all of those things. But now replay is like the worst result. Like yesterday, if you told Klopp, if we are asked Klopp what decision should we give, Klopp would have told just give it onside and let them win. We do not want a replay because Liverpool are already stretched. I think it's the ultimate bad result actually. I'm glad it happened for Liverpool yesterday. Kyle Walker does well to keep the ball on and it's a great switch there. It's a foul. It's a clear foul and it's a free kick. It's a foul on Joe Cancelo by Conor Gallagher and again Cancelo trying to do his tricks. Vinay says from when replay started, no pens in FA Cup. Vinay, I think it's they do the replays, and in the EFL Cup they do the penalties. I think traditionally it's been the replays in the FA Cup, but I think during COVID they sort of abandoned it they because of the schedule congestion and stuff. But I guess they bought it back again. I think in the semi-finals you don't have replay. I think I'm not sure, but I think that is the thing. Phil Foden and just escaped Riyad Mahrez. By the way, did you guys see the replay of the City EDS against Arsenal EDS, City under 23s? I didn't know this, but apparently Arsenal EDS were top of Premier League 2. And when City EDS played them this Saturday, City EDS had a chance to go top if they beat Arsenal EDS. And Arsenal EDS haven't lost a single game in Premier League 2 until now. And we defeated, and our boys defeated them 6-0. It was 4-0 at halftime. It was that bad. Carlos Borges had two goals. The winger on the opposite flank of Carlos Borges, I think even he had two goals. Even he is on a hat trick. Mbuma, I think not Mbuma. I can't quite get his name, but even he had two goals, and he somewhat brought flashes of Leroy Sané back actually. A little bit of trickery, the pace he was going, and Oscar Bob, the balls from Oscar Bob were fantastic. I think Oscar Bob will be the next your Foden, sort of the next midfielder to break through into the City first team. He's just so good. City are still pressing relentlessly, and Chelsea are just suffocated. You know, when City are at the best, when we are at our best, we do not blow away the opponent. We kill the opponent with 1,000 cuts, the 1,000 bleeds. And that is what City are doing here. The match easily could have been 5-0, 6-0 if City wanted to up the tempo. But City are doing it the subtle way, the way in which you're sort of the big mafia dons and all. They do it. They let the opponent suffer, and then bleed. That is what City is doing. Lost by 1,000 cuts. We're just dominating Chelsea everywhere. I just want us to preserve the clean sheet because that's been a sort of concern in the last few games. Brentford, Everton, even against Chelsea, lose all came close in the Premier League, and Riyad Mahrez does well to get the ball out, and Julian Alvarez is running onto the ball. He's 1v1 there. Cole Palmer, Calvin Phillips, the range of passing from Calvin Phillips. Look at how he sprays the ball around. It's just wonderful. Yeah, Embuda, exactly, Vinay, exactly, Embuda. He's just so, the connection between him and Carlos Borges, it almost looks like, Sterling and Sane connection, which we had in the Centurion season. But the only thing there is, Carlos Borges is a much better finisher than Raheem Sterling already. His pace, finishing, it's wonderful. His runs, his movement. Probably, I think we have to give Carlos Borges a fair chance before going for Rafael Leao. Probably, I think. If a Rico Lewis can make it, I think we will need to give them also a fair chance. Especially Embuda looks like one of a sort of perfect pep players, just like a Rico Lewis. He keeps the ball well. He is trickery and all. His first intention is always to pass and not to go for a shot. It's wonderful. The vision from the guy is just excellent. Embuda. Carlos Borges is just like a Raheem Sterling with great finishing. Carlos Borges is like he just runs at the opponents with extreme pace. What a ball that is! But I think the Chelsea defender will get there first. It's after a long time the season that I'm seeing a City match in the second half relaxed. Because against Everton, we were just one goal up and it was not relaxed. You knew if the second goal didn't go in, match could turn. Against Chelsea, it was far from a relaxing thing, right? 1-0 matches are never relaxing. Against Brentford, it was not relaxing at all. It was 1-1 till the end. So in a long time. Before that, also Fulham, it was 1-1 till the end, and at last we got a penalty. So after a long time, it's feeling relaxed and not stressed watching a City match in sort of mid second half. Vinay Sistro felt same exactly. It can get stressful at times, but that is what we love about the club. But then also, I think those matches, that's a wonderful ball there. Riyad Mahrez is almost through, I think, no. But I think those matches which are the most stressful are the matches that give you great joy and satisfaction at the end, also, right? You almost feel after the match, wow, City have done very well on a hard day. That's how you feel. It's just so satisfying when you get on the right side of those results, but when you get on the wrong side, it can just get on you so much. Like that Everton result, it just still I'm a bit disappointed with that. Chelsea have just played in a shell. There's another thing about Graham Potter. With Mikel Arteta, we saw in that Arsenal, I mean, whatever the Prime web series that came, that he can actually. I mean, okay, leave the web series, but Mikel Arteta, when he came to Arsenal, he took some decisions that told everyone he's the boss. Like, he suspended Shaka, he stripped him of the captaincy, Abu Mayan, he also suspended him for a while. Disciplinary issues, and Chelsea are now going forward. That's a waste of a ball. Sums up Chelsea's season till now in a nutshell. But yeah, Mikel Arteta, when he went to Arsenal, he made some decisions like Aubameyang thing, stripping Xhaka of the captaincy, and he made some tough calls that he told out he's the boss. But with Graham Potter, I think you sort of get a doubt how good of a motivator he is, how good of a man manager he is. You just look at Pep. When Pep came to City, he had taken stern action against Yaya Toure, for example. He just laid down the marker there and told everyone, okay, I'm Pep Guardiola. You might have heard that all of my reputation and stuff, but now you see. I don't believe in someone telling something about me. I'll show you with my actions. That's what Pep did. That's what Arteta did when he went there. Jose Mourinho sort of always did it with his players. Uh, Zidane sometimes did it at Real Madrid. So you see these managers, they Allegri used to do it. Conte did it at Tottenham. So I think why is Graham Potter? So you get a doubt: is Graham Potter really a good motivator? Can Graham Potter does he have the courage to lay down that marker and stuff? Because it's not just always about the best tactics, the best tactician, and all of those things. Being a great manager, being a good man. What a switch from Calvin Phillips. That is just sweet. What a switch there from Calvin Phillips. That is just right out of Pep's most beautiful dreams. What a switch that was from Calvin Phillips. There's not much of a bat lift as well. He's just spraying the ball around, just like Garden, who's just sprays water all around. Calvin Phillips is just like he's just displayed some wonderful things already there. His range and his switching it's just wonderful. It's more than Rodri actually, to be fair. Riyad Mahrez. Kepa was beaten there. That almost should have been the second goal for Riyad Mahrez. Let's see it on the replay. How much did it miss by? Didn't miss by much. Didn't miss by much. Just a whisker away from crawling inside the far post, and Kepa was nowhere near it. Yeah, so like Graham Potter, how are his man management skills? That's the question mark. No, that's the big question mark. Because to succeed at big clubs, especially, I think to succeed at big clubs or to succeed at relegation based clubs, you need to be a strong man manager. Even if your tactics are not that much, if you're a strong man manager, if you're a strong motivator, if you can inspire, then you can have your assistant managers draw the tactics actually. That's a great ball from far, and will Chelsea score? Aymeric, get up, get up, get up. Ah, it's just the attempt and hope and nothing else. So, for example, you look at Sam Allardyce and you compare Sam Allardyce to Graham Potter. Graham Potter is, if Sam Allardyce and Graham Potter write a tactics exam, Sam Allardyce will get -3, -5, -10 markings because the only tactic he knows is Sam Allardyce knows is long ball from the back, a big striker running in the front. But why is Sam Allardyce always hired for relegation jobs? It's not because of his tactics, it's because of his motivational skills, the way he can lift a team when it's down, and the swamps of relegation. So Chelsea are not in relegation, but it's as bad as that for Chelsea. So is Graham Potter that man who can lift them from that dirt, from that blushes? I'm not sure. That will actually be evident at the end of the season. Does he have the personality? Does he have the character in terms of inspiring people? So those things are also essential when you're a manager. It's not just the tactical part. Yes, tactical part is essential. It's crucial, but it's not everything in a football manager's job. People at United actually blamed Ole that he is out of his tactical depth and stuff. But to be fair, he had a little bit of those skills, man management skills with which he sort of got some results. If in his second with United in a season, so City fans are just in the stadium just overjoyed, and that's how we should be. And this is just the beginning for us of what will be a grueling January, a grueling February. My God, it's just going to be almost a grueling end to the season for us now because Champions League will be there in sort of February, March, April. Then the title race, we do not know how deep it will go. If we don't have to look far, for example, this month, two times Tottenham. You play Man United, and then probably I think next month somewhere you have Arsenal, or at the end of January you have Arsenal already. So it's a grueling month, but we take it one at a time. The pressing structure is something that will impress me today about City. And the passing of Calvin Phillips in the second half, it's just been something else. I mean, I'm wondering, it's just a small thought. Will Pep play both Calvin Phillips and Rodri against Man United? It's just a thought. The reason for the thought is Man United's strength is Rashford and his pace, Anthony. I mean, how much ever you actually say that Ten Hag is, he's a manager who plays possession-based football and stuff, but right now United are still relying on that Rashford, sort of breaking and stuff. Laporte is running back, not his strength, but very well done by Manuel Akanji there. No, sorry, it's Kyle Walker. Akanji is one of very well done by Kyle Walker. So just the thought that will Pep play Calvin Phillips, because ideally in these sort of matches when you have pacey attackers, Pep loves to play an Ilkay Gundogan, and he allows probably for Gundogan to sit back sometimes with Rodri because Gundogan has experience of playing with the CDM. But I don't want us to concede today. I want us to go home with a clean sheet today. Whatever happens, it's a clean sheet. Has to be a clean sheet. That's a good block. That's a very good block, and it's a corner for Chelsea. You can see that Chelsea players are already on their knees. Manuel Akanji is actually down. It's a corner for Chelsea. Ortega has looked very comfortable in terms of passing the ball out from the back. He hasn't faced. Graham Potter has a little bit of smile on his face because Akanji has been hit in an area that probably you all know what I'm speaking about. So the selection for the derby will be interesting, but the selection for the derby, you could say that probably one or two players will be doing a rehearsal for it in the match against Southampton. Conor Gallagher with a deep corner, and it's a goal kick. Trevor Shaloba. I think Shaloba had a great start to last season actually. He was giving fantasy points left and right. He scored a couple of header goals, and just like Thomas Tuchel, after that it just went down and down for him, his trajectory. Riyad Mahrez is just working his socks off. Julian Alvarez, look at the kind of pressure he's putting in. Kyle Walker, what a ball there. It's just out of the grasp of Julian Alvarez, but that was sweet 1-2 football between Walker to Mahrez to Julian Alvarez. No one took more than a touch over there. That is wonderful from Calvin Phillips, and Bernardo Silva gets the ball back. Cole Palmer, little bit of a missed pass over there. Kepa, he's not done any mistakes today. Could not have saved the free kick. Mahrez free kick had no chance with the Foden goal. Had no chance with the Alvarez penalty. Kepa does not have any options and is not that good with the ball. Chelsea fans are already heading for the exits. There's 10 more minutes to go, but never say never in football. But they're wise enough to go home early today. They have to go for work tomorrow. It's Monday morning, so wise people. Manuel Akanji, that's a foul. Now the intelligence of Manuel Akanji is just not praised enough. I think the way he uses his mind more than his physicality to conduct games from the back. That is something I've not seen as much in centre backs, especially nowadays. Just a unique species, Manuel Akanji. His mind is always two steps ahead of the attacker. You have never seen Manuel Akanji go into heavy tackles or trying to keep up with the runner or anything like that. He just puts his body in between the attacker and the ball. He just slowly and slightly nudges the opponent down, and he manages them with the physicality, shoulder to shoulder. It's just a classic example of how to defend a Rolls Royce defender almost. It's almost like you would say when Van Dijk was at his prime in 2017, 18, those seasons, Van Dijk was in his prime. That's what Van Dijk used to do. Manuel Akanji is only 27, Manuel Akanji, which is very young for a defender. This is when the defender slowly starts to get in his prime. Stefan Ortega. When I hear the word Stefan, it still brings me goosebumps with what Jack Stefan did in the FA Cup tie last season against Liverpool. No, it is not about losing the FA Cup tie last season, but there was a genuine fear last season that Liverpool could go on into 4 trophies. And we had a chance, and the regret would have been if they did it. We had a chance in the FA Cup to stop them, and we couldn't. That's a good attack. Bernardo Silva has to score. No, he didn't. It's a penalty. Referee's given a penalty. Yes, referee's given a penalty. Koulibaly is appealing. When I say cause of Pep, we don't have gone through what United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs experience. For that, he's God. But his overthinking strikes in between. I think his overthinking is what we have to accept. I think when I end some of the Premier League, all of these Premier League titles, you could also say that they're also I'm not saying they're a result of his overthinking, but they're a result of his madness with thinking about football like that. And when you're so mad about football in a sort of a tactical point of view, I think you sometimes you can't just live with it that a team is playing 4-3-3 and we are doing well. You can't live with that. I think you really want to change it always, and you want to change it on the big occasions. I think it is this madness that has made Pep so who he is. So I think if you remove this madness and overthinking from Pep, I always feel that you remove that soul of football from him, and Pep will just be half the manager he is. Riyad Mahrez going up against Kepa, top right corner. That's what I think he'll go. No, it's top left corner. Wonderful. Such a penalty, no one can save. Wonderful penalty from Riyad Mahrez. What a goal. Mahrez on a hat trick. But the play for the penalty was actually superb. Says, to be honest, Foden should have finished it. He's a bit low in confidence. Exactly, when I'm getting that feeling. Foden is generally an exceptional finisher. He's just a little bit low. But the good thing is, he's got a goal in this match, so that will help his confidence. and I hope Foden starts against Southampton. So Foden starts with Southampton and he regains his confidence in the derby. When I say City tearing Cockneys apart again, exactly. But regarding Phil Foden, I do think that we need him for the derby. He's always been, big games motivate Phil Foden, and I mean not motivate Phil Foden, but big games generally tend to get the best out of Phil Foden. So I actually think it could be the celebration is just wonderful there. But yeah, I think Riyad Mahrez again through ball. Should have played in the through ball there. Mahrez early. Had Mahrez had a chance to play it through, but he didn't, and that's a free kick for City. When I would actually love to see that Cockney celebration again at Man United at Old Trafford. That would be the ultimate dream on Saturday. Do that at Old Trafford. That would turn him backs on United fans and do that at Old Trafford. That would be the ultimate insult to United fans in the stadium. That would be the ultimate insult. Two players for me will be very crucial from now to the end of the season: Joao Cancelo and Phil Foden. And again, I think this is the difference between a Graham Potter and all of those others and Pep Guardiola. That look at how he's managing Joao Cancelo. No other manager would have dared to drop Phil Foden and a Joao Cancelo. Especially which manager again would have dared to drop a Joao Cancelo in favor of a Rico Lewis, for example, or even a Nathan Ake. Not many, right? I don't even see who. So I think it is this courage and the way Pep is handling Cancelo, Foden, is this will be very what will be very important come the end of the season. Jessica says my heart was on the mouth when you saw Mahrez taking the penalty. For me, hearing Mahrez taking the penalty, I was reminded of that West Ham game, right? That West Ham game last season, penultimate game, we could have easily lost the title if he had not come back against Aston Villa. All the blame would have been against Riyad Mahrez. It's not just the first time he's done it. 2018-19 season, you remember? I think that was the first time when we went head to head with Liverpool in the title race, 98 points or something. Even there, I think in the sort of September fixture, Riyad Mahrez had it was nil-nil. City get a penalty in the last minute, and Riyad Mahrez had hit the penalty over the bar. In the title race, we won by 1 point. That penalty could have been the difference. The same thing against West Ham. Probably it's a good omen. You could say that whenever Riyad Mahrez misses a penalty in important games, that is actually a good omen for the title. Probably that's what you have to think now. Jesus and Koulibaly is basically a African Maguire, an African Maguire with pace, an African Maguire with skates on. When I say Anfield, yeah, skied it actually. He just wanted to take it. Just and he skied it, and I mean, that title race, especially that year 18-19 February to May was just it was just so stressful because every time Liverpool would win, City would win. Liverpool would win. There was no way Liverpool was dropping points. And whenever Liverpool won a match and we had to win to keep up, you always thought about that Mahrez penalty from the start. Thought if he had scored that, we would have had a 3-4 point lead at least, and it wouldn't be so stressful. So but then kudos to Riyad Mahrez in that Champions League run right in the 20 season, where when we went to the final, Mahrez took some important penalties, and I think against Dortmund, Mahrez scored an important penalty, and then against PSG, Mahrez scored that free kick. So kudos to Mahrez that he's able to shrug those things off and is able to come at it again and again. Vinicius Liverpool were prime. Think they won UCL. Yes, yes, exactly. Liverpool that season. Yes, they won UCL that season. Yeah, before season they lost to Real Madrid, but that season they actually won the UCL. That too, it was against Tottenham. I still thought that if we had got past Tottenham that time, we would have gone for a final against Liverpool, I think, that season, 18-19 season. Because you look at the draw, if we had beaten Tottenham, we probably would have got Ajax and we probably would have got another small team. I don't remember the name, but probably would have got another small team. It was such an easy route to the finals that year, especially from our side. But again, why we lost to Spurs? Because of a Sergio Aguero missed penalty. If Aguero hadn't missed it, we would have had an away goal. Kyle Walker with the space and burners on. He somehow managed to squeeze it through. Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis never seems to lose a ball actually. Calvin Phillips. Riyad Mahrez. Kyle Walker. Manuel Akanji. Kyle Walker. Look at Mahrez holding the width. And the and the game's done. The final whistle has been blown. This is just extreme revenge for what Chelsea did under Thomas Tuchel to us. 3-0 there, and now defeated them in the Premier League, EFL Cup, FA Cup. Is there a chance we face them in the Champions League? I do not know. But if we do, we will surely blow them away there as well. Four competitions, four whitewash. We want to do if we can play them in the Champions League as well. Vinicius Potter will rethink his decision. I actually think from outside you just look at the persona of Potter and you look at the persona of what Chelsea are, and you can straight away you know that it's not a good fit. Because with Chelsea you almost okay, it's a new era under Todd Bowley, but generally if you've seen Chelsea, especially under Roman Abramovich era, you'd see that Chelsea are sort of this a bit of an outspoken club, sort of that sort of a character, brash in the eye. And Graham Potter is exactly the opposite. He's a personality who is unto himself. He likes to do his tactical things. He likes to be sort of that quiet sort of persona and stuff like that. It's Chelsea and Graham Potter for me are almost like an extrovert, completely an extroverted person and a completely introverted person, both entering into a relationship together. Not that it might not work, but there'll be hard times. There'll be very hard times. Phil Foden there is given his shirt. That's to young boy there. Good gesture from Foden. But yeah, Graham Potter he just doesn't look there in the right place at Chelsea. He just looks isolated there. Sometimes when you're going through a bad time, it helps to have someone around you who can support, who can give you, who can speak with you and stuff. And in Chelsea, it almost seems that he's cutting an isolated figure over there. So I won't be surprised if Potter is sacked, and I'll be very happy with if Potter is sacked, because then the thing is, if Potter is sacked now, he'll have this experience of what is done at a big football club. Then he'll go back to a club like a Brighton, or not a Brighton, but that sort of a club, and then we can go for him when Pep ultimately leaves, because now he'll even have a big club experience. He'll have learned from it, so that would be awesome. I think for City. JSK says Lewis Hall was completely destroyed by Riyad Mahrez, and Chelsea fans were saying we Lewis Hall was so much better in the Premier League game against City, and he has to start over Cucurella and stuff. But what they didn't know was our winger then, Riyad Mahrez, there was sort of not at his full flow, but today he's at his full flow, and when Mahrez is at his full flow, I don't care who the fullback is, he can just take him to the cleaners. He can just absolutely destroy him. Vinay says Boli is buying players who are performing not with the system once. Potter did good job without any funds. Exactly, Vinay. That is something which still intrigues me. Chelsea did not even have to spend a single penny, for example, in this winter transfer window, because already they messed up the summer transfer window. Okay, Thomas Tuchel was there. Fine, I get it. The players who are bought in are for the Thomas Tuchel system, but with Graham Potter, I think he should have trusted Graham Potter to bring through people from the academy. Because for Graham Potter, it's just almost like Pep Guardiola. There are no superstars in the team for Graham Potter. The system itself is a superstar for Graham Potter. The patterns of play and all of those are the superstars. So just like Pep Guardiola. So I think what Todd Bowley is missing here is there are some managers, for example, Jose Mourinho, Thomas Tuchel as well, Antonio Conte. You need two, three very good players there, two, three absolute superstars there who can drive the team. But with, with Graham Potter, his tactics fulfill that role. His game management fulfills that role. So that's where Todd Bowley is going wrong. And I also think there's no communication between the manager and Todd Bowley. He's just buying players, but he's not even seeing if they fit the system or not. He's just going on and buying players. When I says poor Hall, just want Potter to get sacked and go to Everton, maybe some team, I don't care. Just get sacked and go to some team because he now has the experience and he'll reassess it. And then come back to City in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, and Pep has gone. And probably work a year as an assistant. I think City's transition plan will be when Pep leaves, for example, when Pep makes it clear to the bosses that, okay, I will leave, for example, at the end of next season or something, example, after 3 4 years time, I think 1 year City will want to bring in the new manager and make him work as an assistant under Pep, make him work under Pep, so that he will know how the things are done at the club. He'll get acclimatized to the culture of the club, just like how Fernandino Rodri was transitioned into the team, how Rico Lewis is being transitioned into the team. So Palmer and Riyad Mahrez. So I think that is what is the plan with City. JSK says Todd Bowley is very difficult person to deal with, unlike Roman Abramovich. Yeah, Roman Abramovich sacked managers JSK, but the one very good thing about him was he always gave the managers what he wanted. He just didn't buy randomly like this. Jose Mourinho actually tells this about Didier Drogba. When first Mourinho came to Chelsea, he had a discussion with Abramovich, and Roman Abramovich told him, "Which striker do you want? Is it Shevchenko? Who is it? Who are the top strikers in the world? You tell me, and I'll get him." Mourinho said, "I want Drogba. Just pay Mr. Abramovich. Pay. That's all." I think Todd Bowley is not doing that. He is sort of trusting players. I mean, thrusting players forcefully onto Graham Potter, and Potter's just not able to. Potter's just not able to stand up for himself. I think that is the main thing here. That's the main issue. I think it's not completely the mistake of Todd Bowley. It's also the mistake of Graham Potter in the fact that he's not able to say it sternly. I want certain players, or else I'm going to leave the job. Why doesn't Graham Potter say that? So I think if you want to succeed at a big club, you need to have the confidence to say no to big people, no to the hierarchy. The more you say no to the hierarchy, the more you succeed at a big club, because your careers generally at a big club as a manager will be defined by the decisions, the transfer decisions, or any decision that you say no to rather than you say yes to. Vinay says Roman and Arab owners, they love the club. Exactly. Bayaji says, what a flowing rhythmic performance. This was exactly Bayaji. It was after a long time, it almost seemed like Pep was conducting the orchestra. because in the previous matches it just seemed that we were reliant on certain kind of a players to conduct the orchestra. Like, I mean, nothing against the players, but it almost seemed that you relied on a De Bruyne to make that pass. You relied on Erling Haaland to score that goal. You know, in the previous matches, it seemed you relied on Kevin De Bruyne to go on the outside and pass the ball and put a cross in, or you relied on Rico Lewis to cut inside and keep the ball. You relied on personnel to keep it flowing. But now the best thing is you relied on Pep was conducting. It just didn't seem honestly that any who is the standout player today. I bet that you would not give me a name because okay, Mahrez for the goals you would say, but generally everyone was good. Everyone did their job in the performance. Everyone was just superb there. It's one of the best performances this season. I would say in terms of being jointed, being in that fluid rhythm. This is where even Pep, Pep had that little bit of small smile on his face, and I'm like, I saw it in the first half, sort of. We were 2-0 up, and I'm like, not even 2-0 up, and we haven't scored as well. In the 15th minute, the 12th minute, Pep had that little smile on his face, and I'm like, oh my god, how many days has it been since Pep actually had that smile? It was so rhythmic, so melancholic. It actually seemed like, on a quiet sunny day when the brook, I mean, when a river flows over the stones, that noise, it's so pleasant, right? The performance just seemed so good today. JSK says if you go against Boli, you'll be sacked no matter how good a manager you are. That's what it seems, JSK. It seems that the manager, his staff are actually scared to go against Boli and say something. They're actually scared of losing the job. So if you're scared of losing your job, you can't perform well because Potter is already under that much pressure, right? See, the thing is, Potter has a system. Potter is tactically very good. Potter is not like, for example, is not like your Thierry Henry or your Frank Lampard or your Gary Neville, right? That they go into management and they don't have a system. They're not experienced managers. They don't know about tactics. It's not like Gary Neville at Valencia for Graham Potter. He has a system. He has tactics. But the problem what is happening here is Wesley Fofana for 90 million, right? 80, 90 million. Then you have a Cucurella for 70 million. I don't know if Potter sanctioned Cucurella deal or something. You have got Badasil for 45 million now. So you've got all of this. Koulibaly cost a bit of money. Raheem Sterling was cost around 50, 55 million. So the cost is there, and I actually think Graham Potter is feeling a bit of a pressure to play these people in his system. He's thinking I have since Cucurella is 80 million or Fofana is 90 million, for example, or Chilwell is such money. I have to play them in the system even though they don't suit my system. And I think the thing is Graham Potter is not at such a high level of management that he has the ability to say, no, I won't play a 90 million signing. Pep, I won't be surprised if Pep has the ability to keep Erling Haaland on the bench. It doesn't matter if he's not performing well, he'll be on the bench. Doesn't matter if it's a derby, doesn't matter if it's for 1 month. Potter can't do that. That is the problem here. And to get out of it, Potter will have to say, I have a system. I'll have these are my tactics. Who are the players who can implement these tactics? Who are the players who can get the ball out of me, out of the bag? It seems Trevor Chalobah is actually suited to this system more than your Thiago Silva and Koulibaly. But it seems he's not able to remove that partnership because experience, the long servant of the club, won the Champions League. Thiago Silva with Chelsea. I mean, he is Potter will have to get out of the sentiments and he'll have to concentrate on what is right for him and what is right for the football club rather than what is right for Todd Bowley. That is when I think Chelsea will actually move forward. I mean, moving away from Chelsea, wonderful performance, a rhythmic performance like we talked about. The best thing I liked about this performance is the role of the left back and the right back. Kyle Walker, for the first goal, Kyle Walker made a great Kyle Walker made a great underlapping run. And when you see Pep's fullbacks make underlapping runs, then you can almost get a sense of his mind, sense of frame of his mind, how Pep is thinking. And Pep wanted to freshen it up. Pep wanted to have some tactics against part the bus teams and stuff like that. Pep was fed up of what happened in the Premier League against Chelsea, even though we won. So underlapping fullbacks was a great hallmark today. Kyle Walker cutting in Sergio Gomez to see the position. He almost ended up in that striker sort of a role. It's just wonderful. And I would have loved to see today what how Jack Grealish would have done. I know Jack Grealish wasn't in the match this squad today, but how Jack Grealish would have done with that underlapping and overlapping fullback. The problem what's been happening with Jack Grealish is he's just going there alone and the fullback's inverting, so there's no one there to take away, and they're doubling up on Jack Grealish basically. So if you have an underlapping fullback, one of the opposite winger who's doubling up on Jack Grealish will have to go with the fullback. There's no choice, or else the fullback is free. So I think with the underlapping or overlapping fullback, Jack Grealish is just bound to thrive in the system. So that's something that's very good. Calvin Phillips, I was really impressed with him. I was really impressed with the range of passing of Calvin Phillips, the way Calvin Phillips sprayed the ball around, his range of passing, his dynamism, the way he was able to hold the midfield together on his own. I think Calvin Phillips will actually be very, very important in the Champions League this season. So, and in the cup ties obviously, but in the Champions League and in the Premier League as well, you just can't expect Rodri to play all of the matches, especially with the fixture schedule this season. So I actually think that City are just starting to purr on. City are just starting to get their engine running. People say that Arsenal have got these many points already. Arsenal have made what the best start in so many years and all of that. But I don't know why, but what people tend to forget is it's not the team that has started off well that eventually goes on to win the title or that eventually goes on till the end. It's the team that peaks at the right time. Peaking at the right time is so important. You saw what happened with Liverpool last season until January. When the January first week, Liverpool were nothing, right? You sort of thought Liverpool might be fighting for the fourth place and something. And then Liverpool peaked, and they almost ended up with a chance to win four trophies. So peaking at the right time is an essential attribute of champions. And it's nothing against Arsenal fans or something, but I actually think I would prefer it this way. City slowly getting into gear now rather than us playing very well till the end of December and just maybe dropping points now. I prefer it this way, just getting into the peak now, because as the Champions League comes around, you want to be slowly going into that peak form. This was a problem with Bayern Munich as well with Pep actually. They won the league early, or they won most of the matches in the first half. They used to peak a lot early, and in the Champions League they would go out. So I'm very confident this season actually that we'll do well in all of the competition. So let's hope for the best. And I absolutely love the way Pep has managed Cancelo and Foden after the World Cup. He is slowly getting them in. Both of them are out of form, especially Cancelo. So it's good that he's. I mean, all the other managers would have started Joao Cancelo in this match, but it's only Pep Guardiola and only he can do it. That he started Sergio Gomez, who was, I think, he's almost at the same level of form of Cancelo, even he's not been that good in sort of adapting to City. He has started Sergio Gomez ahead of Cancelo. I expected Cancelo to start today. You have to be a brave manager to start Sergio Gomez ahead of him. And Gomez did well, and then he bought on Cancelo. So it's a message from Pep. It's a message from Pep to Cancelo that you have two matches, 1.5 matches, half a match here, and probably expect him to start against Southampton. 1.5 match to show me why he should start against Manchester United. So will be interesting to see the squad for Southampton, the squad for the derby. The squad for Southampton in a way will sort of reveal a few cards of Pep, that what does he want to do against Manchester United, the derby. Because now, he has a couple of options, I also think that maybe Pep wanted it to be this way, I know that we all, including me, have been frustrated with Jack Grealish, Mahrez starting together. We wanted Foden to start more, but I think there's a reason why Pep actually started Grealish time and again, even though things were not going well for him. I think Pep wanted, in the late end of the season, Pep wanted choices. He wanted opponents not to be sure that well. whether Pep will start a Foden or a Grealish. Who is it? Will he start a Mahrez on the right, or who Alvarez will play on the right, or is it a Cole Palmer who will start? Will it be a Rodri, or will it be a Calvin Phillips? Will it be a Gundogan, or will it be a Bernardo Silva? I mean, will it be Akanji Laporte or Diaz Akanji or a Stones Akanji? When that will change the gameplay, because if Akanji Laporte starts Laporte left-footed, the tactics of the opposite manager will be different. So I think Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker. Pep is suddenly bringing you depth in positions that we as City fans thought were non-existent. We as City fans thought, where is the depth at right back? Suddenly Pep has brought on Rico Lewis, who's done very well. Kyle Walker's doing well now. Where's the depth at left back? Suddenly there's Sergio Gomez, there's Ken Shallow, who will at some point return to form. There's Nathan Ake, who's been doing very well. We know the depth at centre back, how the depth at centre back is. So in every position, depth in midfield, depth in attacking midfield, depth in striker, even the wings actually. I know we don't have a winger who can run at the opponents at great pace, but you sort of have a Grealish, Mahrez, Foden, and Palmer can play there. So it's just wonderful. Pep is slowly bringing out his repertoire of cards. Pep is slowly beginning to show his cards to Arsenal. And you compare this to Arsenal. Arsenal already have their cards shown. Martinelli, Saka. What happens if one is not there? So you can, when you play Arsenal, you can probably be sure Saka is going to play on the right, Martinelli on the left. Strike, Gabriel Jesus is going to play if he's there, or it's going to be Nketiah. Who are the backups there? So Arsenal can't change it up as much, but Pep Guardiola is using his guile. Pep Guardiola is using his vision here to throw a challenge at Mikel Arteta and Arsenal and all the others who want to chase him down. It's not just done in one way that you throw a 4-3-3 formation and stuff. It's also done in ways where you rotate the squad, where you spring surprises with systems at opponents, and lot of it. And against Chelsea as well, the first half was not just something Pep was trying. I don't think Pep will. Okay, he's done it in the Champions League final, but Pep is. I think Pep really wanted to surprise Potter and a few others, especially Mikel Arteta, with a new system. So now when we play Arsenal, Arteta will also be having that thing in the back of his mind. Will he actually be able? Will he actually do the same thing? Will he put Rico Lewis in the middle or Cancelo in the right wing or something like that? So Pep is not just trying all of these things in random. Pep has a purpose. The purpose is to surprise opponents. So I'm actually delighted, especially after this display, and I can already visualize a few things, see a few things, like you all people, that the the kind of rhythm in this display and where we are headed. Especially, it was a bit confusing for me a week and a half back, especially after we lost to Arsenal. But that system change against Chelsea, the way he approached this game, the way Grealish and Mahrez have been coming through, you can now see where Pep wants to take this team. You can now see that Pep last season in the Champions League, no options at fullback. This season he has 4 or 5 options of people who can play at fullback, right back. Even an Akanji can play there. Left back Ake can play there. Apart from the two left backs, we have suddenly filled that hole without. How much money have we spent? We have spent 15 million pounds, and we have all. I wouldn't say solved the left back problem completely, but we have at least have personal in that region. So fantastic way this Pep is doing this, and this season is going to be a long one, hard one, grueling one, and there'll be so many nervy moments. What I would say is just get ready for the roller coaster ride, and I don't know what the result will be at the end, but the only thing is we'll enjoy every bit of it. We'll enjoy the madness of Pep. We'll enjoy the overthinking of Pep, and we'll also enjoy the tactical genius of Pep. All of these qualities were evidently shown just against Chelsea in one game at Stamford Bridge. The tactical madness of Pep, the tactical genius of Pep. In the space of two halves, and that is how the best winners, they know how to flick a switch. If they don't do something right, they're quick to admit it. They're losing some, they're quick to admit and change it. That's what Pep did. He flicked the switch at Stamford Bridge, and that switch is still lingering on, and that switch is still giving out a lot of light. That was wonderful. What happened at Stamford Bridge last season, I mean, in the last Premier League game, can actually be the springboard, it can be the impetus driving us forward in the season. And it's always, and I don't know why it always happens, but it's always quite ironic that what happens at Chelsea, especially at Stamford Bridge, generally drives us forward, in the season. That COVID hit season, remember? 2000, 2021 season, we were at seventh, I think. We were seventh in the league, seventh or eighth in the league, and we went to Chelsea and we destroyed them. I think we destroyed them 5-0, 6-0, 6-1, whatever it is, and we just go on a winning streak from there. I mean, all of the seasons when we have done well in the league, Stamford Bridge has been the place where we have actually won, and we have and we have won very well last season as well. I think Kevin De Bruyne scoring that stunner. We defeated Chelsea tactically completely. We humiliated them tactically, even though the score line was just 1-0. So it's ironic, not so ironic now, but don't know what's that relation we have with Stamford Bridge, that we always, in all of the league seasons, we have done well. We have always done well at Stamford Bridge. 2016 17 is one season, which I think when Chelsea were under Antonio Conte, right? We lost at Stamford Bridge. That match we took a lead through Chelsea, Gary Cahill own goal then, and then we lost it. Otamendi was turned upside down in that match by Diego Costa. That season we didn't win the Premier League, Pep's first season, but after that season, Pep ensured most of the times we defeated Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So wonderful win, a very rhythmic win, wonderful play from City. Or today's man of the match is everyone who played there. All of the players, including the substitutes, including Ortega, everyone is the man of the match today. Wonderful performance from City. And thank you all guys for joining me. I really hope you have enjoyed the stream. So see you all guys again, and see you all in the watch along against Southampton City against Southampton in the EFL Cup match. Thank you guys.